Meet my new friend Joe. Joe is a content creator and business owner who moved from Australia to the Philippines over a year ago. He makes videos about his life in the province and the cafe he owns and operates. Make sure to check out his channel, link below. Joe and I had a great conversation. We talked about the cultural differences between Australia and the Philippines, how he ended up living in the province, his experience learning to drive in the Philippines, what it's like to open a business there, and so much more. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Australian living in the Philippines? How did that happen? How did you end up in the Philippines?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I met my wife maybe 10, 11 years ago, and she's Filipino. She grew up in Australia. She was born here in Pangasinan in Binalonan, but moved to Australia when she was 2 years old with her parents. I actually thought she was Thai when I met her. I didn't know what the Philippines was. I did not know what Filipino people were. And for like a month straight, I was like, "Oh, what part of Thailand are you from?" She's like, "I'm Filipino." I'm like, "What's that?" Anyway, eventually learned what the Philippines was, and we came here on holiday, and we kept coming back like every year on holiday, and I just fell in love with the place, just the culture, the food, the people, just everything about it. And I was like, you know what? Why don't we just move? Like, I work online. Let's just go. Let's just try it out for a year, see how it goes. And it's been 14 months now,
Wow.
so
So you went from not knowing where the Philippines was to now living there full time, essentially.
pretty much, yeah.
That's a pretty big move. So, like, before you arrived in the Philippines, after you learned that she was from the Philippines and not Thailand, did you have some like exposure to Filipino culture then?
Yeah, so well, obviously, like I met all her family and whatnot, and the food, like when we'd have parties and stuff, I'm like, this is not Thai food. What's going on? And then yeah, then obviously found out it's Filipino food because Filipino food's nothing like any other Asian food that you can think of, from that I know of anyway. It's very unique in itself. But yeah, I mean, we sing a lot of karaoke at their parties and the food, and I was like, cool, if this is what Philippines is, let's do it. Yeah,
Sign me up.
exactly.
So I would imagine that moving from Australia to the Philippines would be pretty different for you. Was it also different for her? Like, was there kind of some reverse culture shock, I guess you could say?
No, because she came back a lot with her parents growing up, so she was quite accustomed to it. For me, there wasn't much culture shock either, because I grew up a lot in Asia with my parents, so like Hong Kong and Mongolia and Kazakhstan and Turkey as well. So there wasn't a huge culture shock, but there's a lot of things to get used to that are a lot different than Australia. That's all. But all the jeepneys, all the crazy power lines, all that sort of stuff, I was already pretty used to anyway.
So, like, where are your parents from then?
So dad's Italian, mum's English. My dad was raised in Australia. Mum came to Australia when she was 15
Ah,
from
interesting. So
England.
then how did you get that exposure to other places like you said, like Turkey and Mongolia and all of that?
Dad was missionary. Yeah, my parents were both missionaries, and I had no choice. I had to go with them. I was a kid.
Mhm.
So
Sure. What part of Australia are you from?
Gold Coast, Queensland, the Sunshine State.
So 14 months ago, you moved to the Philippines, but you had been on trips already back and forth between Australia or not really?
Correct. Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of knew a little bit what you were getting into. And where do you guys live in the Philippines?
In Cavite, in the city of Bacoor. So it's like probably an hour from Makati, south of Makati.
Are you close to Tagaytay?
Right, yeah, like 1 hour away from Tagaytay.
1 hour away. Interesting. That's a really beautiful area over there. Do you like it?
I love it, man.
Have you ever wanted to learn Tagalog but just didn't know where to start? Let me help you with my beginner's Tagalog course. Between 2 volumes, this course includes 18 structured video lessons designed to walk you through the basics of Tagalog one step at a time. Plus, you'll also get lifetime access to PDF vocabulary sheets to help you review and retain what you learn. I made this course because I know how hard it can be to find high quality Tagalog learning materials. I built the resource that I wish I had when I started. Ready to learn? Check the first link in the video description below to get started. Now, back to the video. So how did you decide on Cavite?
So we lived in BGC when we first moved here because we were unsure where to live, and we knew BGC was like a safe place. So we went there, and then we explored a bit. And then I met some really good friends, so like through I do a lot of jiu-jitsu training and whatnot. And I met some friends, and they opened their own academy south here in Cavite and in Alabang. And I was like, I don't want to keep driving like an hour forth every day. So I'm like, let's just move to Cavite. So I got no regrets. It's absolutely amazing here. It's beautiful.
And how does it compare to BGC?
Oh, so much better. So BGC, like I've never been a big city person, and BGC is like, it's just like it's like a little mini New York type thing. It's great. BGC is great if you want like meat Westerners and lots of foreign restaurants and whatnot. But I moved to the Philippines to get away from foreign like restaurants and whatnot. So moving south is a lot more. They still call it the province, but it's like a little mini city. Like it's like suburbs, and then you got like a nice little city area and a lot less traffic, and it's a lot more open as well, which I like. And no big skyscrapers though.
Yeah, BGC and Makati is like it's kind of hectic a little bit, right? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people, and I'm totally with you in that like it's nice to see how like the average Filipino would live in the country versus like kind of an international bubble where it's like, yeah, you have all of the kind of conveniences of like the West, you could say, like the same restaurants and expensive places and stuff like that, but like you're missing out on the local culture.
That's what I like. I like the local culture. Like I love going to the province, like where my wife's from, because it's just there's literally you'd never see a foreigner there. But not only that, it's just pure province life. Like we're drinking, we get the goat, we eat the goat. We ride around on the tricycles, all that sort of stuff. I love it. It's so it's funny. Like when I explain to my Filipino friends, they're like, "Why do you like that?" I'm like, "Because I didn't grow up with this. Like it's different for me." And they're like, "Yeah, fair enough."
Do you think that Filipinos are trying to move from a provincial lifestyle to a more urban lifestyle, like in terms of economic class and things like that?
100%, yeah. Especially where we live in Cavite, there's actually quite a lot of development going on, and they're getting rid of all the big crazy power lines here. Like it's just looking a lot more Western style. And I also see it in some families. It's pretty sad, I reckon, because they're teaching kids to speak English and not Tagalog. So there's some of the kids here that don't speak Tagalog at all because they want to be more westernized. And I'm like, you live in the Philippines, man. Like, learn Tagalog. I'm trying to learn Tagalog. It's so hard. But, I think they should be proud of the culture and to keep it rather than try and get away from it.
Yeah, the Philippines is a very unique relationship, especially with the United States, I think. There's a lot of influence from the US. There's a very good relationship between the US and the Philippines. And there's some really good things with that. But also, sometimes I feel like those kind of Western ideas get put on a pedestal in the Philippines.
100%. They do.
Yeah. And then they start getting like kind of some questionable ideas, like, oh, it's better to be lighter skinned, right? That's like the new beauty standard coming from the Americans and things like that. And it's like, no, like, like, what do you mean? Like Filipinos are some of the most beautiful people in the world, like any complexion that they come in, right? And it's like, there's no need to kind of idealize things from a different country when every country is unique in its own rights,
They do idolize a lot of American stuff here. And I think a lot of that comes to the relationship from World War II, what happened. They do look up to America. And also America protects the Philippines a lot from other countries. So yeah, they do idolize a lot, especially with the whitening of skin. And I'm like, man, tan skin is beautiful. Like, keep it. But there's also a thing here is the darker your skin, apparently, the poorer you are because it means you work out in the sun. You don't have a nice office job, that sort of stuff. So I've heard that a lot is if you're dark here, look at you as not as wealthy, which is pretty sad because they're naturally darker people, tanned and whatnot. Yeah, it's a bit of a standard here. Well, it's coming in slowly.
And there are more kind of like, you could say, superficial things that come from the influence of another country. And there's nothing wrong with that. Basketball is very popular in the Philippines. That obviously came from the US. And that's cool. Like that exists in all countries. There's influence from other places. But when it becomes problematic in society and comes with these kind of internalized ideas of racism and things like that, that's where it's more kind of problematic. And the same thing with prioritizing English over Tagalog, especially in the more urban areas. It's like speaking English is a social status thing where it's like, oh, I went to a private school or I, have a higher education, so I speak English really well. And it's like, yeah, that's great. Speaking English opens a lot of doors for you internationally, but that doesn't mean that people that only speak Tagalog are any less, right? Or that it isn't a language that should be maintained. And not just Tagalog, it could be any Filipino language, right? Ilocano, Bisaya, Waray, whatever it might be. All of those languages are equally as valid, right? And they should be maintained, in my
It's
opinion.
100%. I totally agree. And I think like what you said before, you hit the nail on the head is this big status thing here. The more Western you are, the more Western you can be is a big status. Like as in like, I don't want to say I'm better than you type thing, but it's more like look at me like type thing. A lot of that goes on here.
How has your journey been learning Tagalog? Where are you at in that process?
Still getting there, but it's So I don't know how you've done it, man, because it is so complex to learn, like, where to put your tongue when saying certain things, like the NG words, like the nah or whatever. I don't know still how to do
Yeah,
it.
nga,
Yeah,
ngayon,
that's
ngiti. Yeah.
it's just it's hard to pronounce for me. I'm getting there. Like I'm learning. She gave me like this worksheet just to learn how to pronounce little things. Like I know how to do basic things, like obviously like salamat po, meron kayo, like Coke Zero, that sort of stuff. But I can't hold a conversation. And the worst thing
Mhm.
is if I go to a restaurant, I'm like, meron kayo, like Coke Zero, and then they start talking Tagalog. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's all I know. Like, so
Yeah.
they're like, oh, it's okay, you're learning.
You know enough to start the conversation but not finish it.
Exactly.
That's okay. It's a process, it takes time, and it's a challenging language to learn, like I think the phonetics can be hard in Tagalog. There are some sounds that are difficult for English speakers, but the grammar is pretty complicated as well, and it was challenging for me at the beginning because I started learning it like over 10 years ago. There wasn't a lot of resources. There still aren't that many resources. And so I was learning a language for the first time. I had never learned any other language other than just speaking English, right? And so I didn't really know, what I would have to do to learn another language. That's almost a thing in and of itself. Like, how does one go about learning a language? And then when you put on top of that a language that doesn't have a lot of resources, it's kind of tricky. Like, it kind of felt like I was like just figuring it out on my own. And to a large degree, I was. But luckily, I had a bunch of Filipinos around me that like helped me and stuff like that to practice. But yeah, it's challenging, man. It just takes time. You'll get there.
I tried to get my wife to teach me, but she just gets angry. She's like, "Why can't you do it?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm trying." It's so easy. I'm like, "It's because you grew up with Tagalog." I didn't.
Do you have a favorite Filipino food?
Bicol Express, 100% hands down.
Mm.
Bicol Express.
And you like it really spicy?
I love it spicy, man. I love I love chilies. So like the green chili, I just pick them up and eat them like that. And yeah, if it was a dish, Bicol Express. If it was a chain restaurant, I like Jollibee's chicken, 100%.
Chicken.
I don't like the spaghetti because being Italian, it's like blasphemy to me. But the spaghetti, I mean the chicken and the burgers, I like Jollibee's.
Jollibee spaghetti probably couldn't get any farther away from like original Italian pasta. The sauce is
Yeah,
very different, right? That very sweet sauce is
yeah,
very Filipino.
yeah. When my dad comes to visit, I'm gonna take him and get Jollibee spaghetti. He's gonna have a heart attack. This is not Italian. No, what are you doing? So,
Yeah, you said that like Filipino food is very unique in Southeast Asia, right? And it is. And I think it has a lot of influence from other countries too, right? Like Chinese influence, shomai, lumpia. And then you have like some traditional kind of like Filipino dishes like your Bicol Express, adobo, kare kare. And then you also have like Spanish influence, lechon and empanadas and ilocos and stuff like that. So
big mix of everything. I haven't done all the crazy stuff yet though, like the bullet. No,
not yet. Do you want to?
I've got the weakest stomach in the world. Like I just have to look at something and I'm gonna heave. I am supposed to do it with a couple of friends that are content creators here. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but we couldn't find any bullet. So apparently you have to get it either early in the morning or in the afternoon, evening. Sorry.
It is a challenge for sure, especially if you're kind of like not super adventurous with food. It's going to be a challenge.
No, I'm not adventurous at all. Like I don't even eat like liver. I can't do liver. I can't do like that sort of stuff. Even like the intestine one, the chicken intestines.
Isaw.
Isao. Yeah, I tried that. It took me a little while to try it, but it was just like I didn't like the texture or anything like that.
Mm.
It was a bit like it felt like a worm in my mouth. So couldn't do it. Yeah, I've got a very weak stomach, man. It's gonna be a challenge, but I have to do it.
Yeah, it's for the content, right? I mean, I ate balut twice in the Philippines, and both times were also on camera. It was challenging, man. The second time was a little bit better, but I was also a little bit drunk, so maybe that helped.
Maybe that's what I need to do.
Yeah, you don't think about it as much then.
Yeah, but even still, like my wife's family and a couple of their friends tried to get me to do it. I had like 24 red horse in one day in the Gulpan.
Oh my
It was a
god.
lot. I didn't realize
Yeah.
how strong it was. And then
Mm.
like I was like maybe like 3 and I'm like, why is this hitting me so much? I'm like, oh, 7%. But then I just kept going. I had 24. And even after 24 red horses, I was holding it and I couldn't do it.
Wow. Okay. So maybe that isn't your secret then. Maybe that's not going to work for you.
I don't know. I just gotta do it. Just chuck it back.
What would you say the biggest differences are between like Australian culture and Filipino culture?
Everything. There's everything literally. I can't really pinpoint one thing. I think a lot of it is you know what I do like about the Philippines is it's very family orientated here and friends orientated. Like I go out with my friends here just for like a casual dinner or not to drink. A lot of my friends here don't drink because like we're a lot into like we train jiu-jitsu and all that sort of stuff and they don't like to drink. So I've noticed here a lot of the times people are like, hey, you want to go get dinner after training? You want to catch up and have a coffee? I rarely get that in Australia. Everyone's too busy, everyone's working all the time, whereas here, they will always make time. 10 o'clock at night, yeah, let's go get a coffee or tea or it's very friends and family orientated, and you don't have that in Australia. You might catch up with your friends every Sunday and go to the beach, that's it. But, here it's just whatever time of the day, whatever time of the week, yeah, let's catch up. Let's do this, let's do that. And I love that, man. And what I've noticed as well is a lot of families, like the kids on the weekends after work, will go back to their province or go back to their parents' house and stay for the weekend. So they spend a lot of time with the family. In Australia, man, even me, like I probably won't see my parents maybe 3 times a year because they live in different states and whatnot. But even my grandparents, my auntie, like it kind of makes me feel bad when I talk about it because I wish I did see a lot more of them. My auntie and my uncle, my grandparents are like maybe 20 minutes from my house, but I'd see them like maybe once a month, if that. And I think Australia, I don't know what Canada, America is like, but I think Australia needs to really bring that sort of culture back, is being very family oriented. I think that's the biggest thing here in the Philippines that I've noticed.
Yeah, Canada is definitely more independent as well. Will probably be more similar to Australia, where like if you're living with your parents when you're like in your 20s, sometimes people kind of look down on you for that. Like you should be going out and doing your own thing, and a lot of kids will just like move out of their house and then they only see their parents at holidays. Like they'll just come back for like Christmas and whatever, Thanksgiving, maybe a birthday party or something. And other than that, they're just doing their own thing. They have their own lives and yeah, very focused on work, I think, career development, professional development. Oh, I want to get this job or get that job and I'm too busy to hang out with my parents on the weekend or whatever it might be. And
It's exactly the same in Australia.
I mean, everyone's got the same 24 hours in a day, right? It kind of just comes down to what you prioritize. What do you, like you said, your friends make time for you to go out for a coffee, even if it's 10 p.m. or whatever, right? As opposed to just saying like, well, I just can't, I'm busy.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing I noticed here as well is people sleep so late here. Like in Australia, all my friends are in bed by like 9 p.m., right? Because they want to get up for work like 6, 7 a.m. and it's understandable. Whereas here, people go to bed at like, 12, 1 a.m. and they're still up at 6, ready for work. And I'm the same now. Like when I was in
Yeah.
Australia, I used to 9 p.m. I'm in bed. I'm tired. I could not stay up past 9 p.m. and I'd be up at like 5 a.m. And now I'm in bed at like 12 a.m. and I'm still up at 5 a.m. and I still feel great.
Mm.
I'm like, what the hell? What's happening?
Something's in
Like,
the water.
I know, right? I'm becoming Filipino.
Filipinos are built different too when it comes to like work ethic. I mean, can't compare. It's crazy. And even Filipinos living here in Canada, where, like, let me tell you, during the winter months, it's not easy to wake up early because it's dark. Like, we have really short days in the winter, right? And so you'll wake up when it's dark, go to work, be chipping ice off your windshield in the morning, working all day inside. And then when you come home at 5 p.m., it's dark again. You've missed all of the sunlight. I mean, that does not lend itself very well to like an early riser go getter. It's depressing. It really is. But Filipinos, they'll do that and they'll have another job on the side. They'll work both of them and just do it. It's crazy.
I've noticed a lot of people here are very sort of helping, like especially security guards. Like yesterday, for example, it was like what was it like 9 p.m. I had to go to the shops to get some groceries, and it was dark. The security guard runs over with the torch, and he's like, "Oh, sir, here, let me help you," and and he got me a trolley and everything like that. And I've noticed it happens a lot. They're very accommodating as well, like really, really accommodating people. Doesn't matter where you go. I've never felt like I wasn't accommodated for.
Yeah, that's true. I noticed that too. Like traveling around the Philippines. I mean, I'm a foreigner there. I'm an outsider, right? It was my first time ever being in the Philippines, and I never felt like I was alone. Like I always felt like there was someone around the corner that would help me. They would show me where the bus stop was, or they'd help me, whatever, get a grab, whatever I needed to do. I felt like people were ready to do it. And the customer service is like top of the line, I noticed that there's like, maybe it was just Manila because we got out of Manila, but only for a week. And so I don't have a lot of exposure to like the provincial lifestyle, but in Manila, they'll have like 5 people working in like one kitchen at like a fast food restaurant, where here there might be like 2. And so that also leads to better customer service because there are just more people that can help you with stuff, right?
Even like with like if you go to a restaurant, the food comes out so quick because they got so many people working there. Like yesterday, I went to Texas Roadhouse. I love Texas Roadhouse, and I got a steak. And in Australia, maybe 30 minutes, right? You're waiting for your steak and whatnot. It came out within 10 minutes, and I'm like, This is why I love the Philippines. Like, it's like that. It's crazy, but no, it's very accommodating, and I've never been ripped off. Like I've tested some things, like so I've gone out with like friends and whatnot, and I'd be like, I'll like ask for a price and stuff, and I'll be by myself, and then I'll sort of put it off, and then I'll go tell my friend, "Hey, can you go see if I'm getting ripped off?" And he'll get the exact same price, whether we're tricycles, markets, anything like that. I've never felt like I've been ripped off. Whereas I've gone to other countries, and I know 100% they're ripping me off.
So do you feel like people treat you well in the Philippines?
100%. Yeah. I've watched a lot of videos of foreigners that have really bad experiences, and I won't talk about what they've gone through, but I haven't experienced a lot of anything bad at all, none, except the driving. So it's, I drive here. So yeah, that's probably the worst thing because
Uh-huh.
every man for himself on the road.
How long did it take you to get used to that?
So I was terrified to start driving here because one thing it's on the other side of the road from Australia, and also the traffic is you've seen it, it's just crazy, right? So my wife drove first, and then I was like, I can't not drive, I have to drive. So I learned around BGC, so I got used to BGC. But the first time I left our condo, I went to go turn left, and I actually turned in the closer lane, and like, oh. The security, I was like, wait. So I had to reverse and go back because in Australia, it's on that side, right? That was probably the only mistake I've ever made. After that, after I got confident, I'd say probably like 2 weeks to get really confident driving.
That's good. That's good though. Because I forgot that you guys drive on the other side of the road. That's an extra level of difficulty.
It is. That made it a lot more difficult. But then I got confident, and we were driving a little Honda Brio at the time, so it's the tiniest little hatchback, and it felt like I was driving a truck. But then when I got confident, I actually bought a truck, a Ford Raptor. So I'm confident driving that now.
You're leveled up. You're ready to go. Yeah, when we were there, we wanted to travel from Makati to Tagaytay, and we were talking to some of my friends there about like how we might get out there, like what bus we would take or whatever, how much a grab would cost, and they're like, just rent a car. You can just drive out there. And I was like, yeah, we could do that. You're absolutely right. But I was really intimidated to do that. I was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I've been here like, a week and a half. Am I really going to rent a car and then drive through the city? And like, oh, I just don't know if I'm going to be ready for that. So we didn't end up doing that. We just took we took a grab actually. We just split it between, it was me and I was there with Ryan Hale. So that was not the most economic way to do it.
How much did that cost?
I don't remember what it was.
Man,
But
the Grab driver would have been happy.
yeah, he was chill. He was good with it. Yeah. And then I took the bus home and I was shocked at the difference in price. It probably cost us, I don't know, maybe like $40 or $50 a person to go to Cavite from Makati, maybe something like that. And on the way back, I think it was like $2 or something, $3 in the bus. Like the difference was like, oh my God. Like I feel like the Philippines is like that, where it's a very affordable country to live in, but you can spend as much money as you want to. Like if you really want to like live a high life in the Philippines, you can spend the same amount of money that you would spend here in Vancouver without a problem. You can live the high life. You can take grabs everywhere. You can eat at nice restaurants. You can have like fancy hotels or apartments and stuff like that. And yeah, there's no issue in spending money if you want to, or you can live super cheap.
It was like that for me when I first moved here because I came from obviously living in Australia. Now Australia is extremely, extremely expensive to live. Living on an Australian budget, moving to the Philippines, I was like, oh man, it's only 2,000 pesos. Yeah, buy it. I was only 1,000 pesos, whatever, buy it. But now after like 14 months, I'm a bit more like 1,000 pesos. Now we can get a better deal somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
though I can afford it, it's just more like I just don't want to. I want to live a lot more within my means and not spend like a foreign. Also, I want to stand out, live a lot more like a local, still live decent, but a lot more like locals. Like just think about what I'm spending rather than what I was like when I first moved here, which was just like, oh, it's, yeah, this, that, yeah, whatever. It's like not for my friends, but just for myself. Like everything was so cheap, and I was just like, even restaurants, like you order like 4 dishes, and it's like the price of one dish in Australia.
Yeah, when you come with Australian dollars too, it's gonna be like it works in your favor so much, right?
Oh, 100%.
Does that mean that you're like you've settled there, like you want to live there forever?
100%, yeah. Like, I'll always go back to Australia. My family and friends are there, and it's my home country. But in terms of living, I just prefer the quality of life in the Philippines. I love the culture as well. It's just a lot more, yeah, what we spoke about earlier. It's all about friends and family. And in Australia, you always just feel alone except on Sundays.
Mm.
So it's yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna move from
Hmm. You're happy there.
I told my dad that. He's like, oh, you're only on the honeymoon stage. It's 14 months. I'm like, Dad, I'm not going. Yeah.